on Saturday?
I did. A lot of football. I watched the Tennessee game, watched the USC game. Just really turned on whatever was on, but those are my two favorite ones I watched this weekend.
Were you able to kind of watch it like a fan? Because I was talking to like Bennett yesterday, and he's like, I was so analytical, like I was looking for plays and stuff. Like, how was that experience like for you?
I agree with him. Like, I was just watching, how Tennessee ran the kind of that switch verse to number 11, and how he was just, eating the deep ball against Alabama. But it's just, you can see it as a fan, but I also saw it as like, analytics. Like, I seeing what they're playing, how their tight ends are playing. Just kind of just picking bits and pieces and add it to my game, know what not to do and such.
When that happens, like, do you ever see something and then you go to like a coach or team and it's like, oh, I saw this, whatever, like maybe not a coach, but like, does it give you ideas ever?
Yeah, so like sometimes I see a clip or whatever, I either screen record it or I find it on whatever, and then I send it to my coach. I'm like, hey, look at this, like this is kind of cool.
Have they ever kind of taken that into account, or is it just like, we'll see?
We'll see. It's like a we'll see, but we've talked about if it's in there, it'll get in there, but
Is it more difficult to do that when you're watching USC and Utah? We'll see Utah later, and you might see USC. Is it difficult to kind of watch as quote-unquote a fan?
I guess it is hard to see it as a fan because we're going to be playing against them and I want to beat them, and we will. But it's also it's good to sit back and just relax, and enjoy the game of football. It's a sport I love. It's what I do. It's my life. So.
Well, how different a player are you compared to playing these guys last year? Like 1 year ago against UCLA versus the player and the blocker you are today. How different are you?
I say a lot different. This new coaching staff took a new approach to how everything is handled, and I switched up everything, and I can see it change momentumly in my game, and I can see myself progressing even further down during the season. So,
what were some of those differences? The difference in approach you mentioned. What were some of those things?
Hand placement, working more on like technique, footwork, kind of just working more as a tight end blocker, not like an attached alignment, kind of like using what tight ends have instead of what O-line uses instead of blocking.
The buzz around this game is as big as we've seen for you guys since the Georgia game. What do you think you guys learned in that whole process, getting prepared that's made you better prepared for this week?
Just fighting adversity and kind of our thing with this week was just control what you control, and that's what really that Georgia game really kind of set out for us. Like, forget everything else, control what we control our effort, control our physicality, control our assignments. Just like as long as we do that, we'll come out good.
Going off that, and I know it's been a while, but what do you remember in the hours and days after that game from like landing in terms of his demeanor?
Honestly, he took it, we put it back as our team, we learned from it, and we kept moving forward. There's no shift and change, he wasn't acting crazy or anything. It was just like, come on, it's like next week, let's go. We have a bigger plan, bigger picture, and just keep on going. And since then, we haven't been stopped.
Did you see any teammates that maybe were at risk of kind of getting down about that, and that he was bringing them up a little bit because of that? Or
I think he kind of just adjusted as a team. Like we're all in this together. There's no I. There's just like we're in this together, and it's just kind of more like we're gonna do this as a team. It's not that kind of thing.
I'm sure you've seen the uniforms this weekend. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
I'm excited. I remember way back when they had the pink uniforms, but it's just cool that I get to put them on. I'm really excited.
What does the relationship you have with Cam mean to you?
It's huge. He's kind of like the big brother, the uncle. Like, I don't know, call him Unky Inky, but he's really the role model in our room. He teaches us a lot of what he learned in football, but also like tips outside of everything. Handling my credit and doing all that stuff, like the real man stuff. So,
what was it like to learn his actual story over time, or how much you've been knowing? You want to get into the details.
Yeah.
But like to actually know beyond Cam, the injured football player.
Yeah, he's a lot more than just what you said, but he's a great human being. Kind of like the example that I think everyone should have. He leads by example, and he's just a great human overall.
I know connection has been a big theme for you guys. Looking back at fall camp, or even in the spring when you were here going through it all, how do you feel like that piece has really brought you guys to where you are today and helped you find improvements week after week?
Definitely. Connection is, I think, the biggest part of our program. Really, it brings us to own our mistakes, own what we do wrong, but also like it brings our leaders up, and we can really fix our mistakes and not get down on each other. It's just like, you did this wrong, let's go, pick it back up. And it's just not like a snarky response. It's like, yeah, I got you. It's like we got each other's back.
you have a personal, like a time where you can remember that specifically, like you thought of that when something happened to you, or maybe you're a conflict with a teammate, anything like that?
I mean, I could think of a lot. I mean, there's plenty of times where I'm like, I thought I totally saw the signal. I'm trying to blame the signaler. I was like, I thought it was the wrong signal. Bo's talking to me. He's like, come on, just snap out of it. If the wrong signal, it's wrong signal, but it's just next play mentality. You know, you can't make it mess up the whole series. So,
Just what have you seen from UCLA's defensive front so far this season? And Latu, 6.5 sacks coming into this. How do you try to work on that as a tight end potentially in those pass block scenarios?
just definitely knowing our strengths and our abilities, and just not let the hype of everything else. Just play our game. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Just come in there, do our job, and we can come up top.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.